The group stages matches of the T20 World Cup 23-24 have concluded, yes, and now the explosive encounters of the top 8 teams are about to commence today. The United States will face South Africa in the first ever Super 8 match. Remarkably, this will be the first T20 international clash between these two teams. South Africa enters this match with an unblemished record of having won all 4 of its group stage matches and will be keen to maintain the winning streak. The match will be held at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, known for its balanced pitch that offers assistance to the batsmen, fast bowlers and spinners alike. Historically, the new ball on Antigua provides some help and the fast bowlers early on, while spinners enjoy bowling in both. Captains might agree to prefer to bat first, winning the toss, with the average first innings score is around 138. For South Africa, Quinton de Kock has yet to play a significant innings. But before we get on to today's match, let's talk to 3 of my eminent panelists today. We've got Noel David, former Indian cricketer; Paul Dinette, the snapper from Sydney, who's got all his one-liners and everything intact; and we have Tatinda Ziambe, the Harare boy, who's been keeping a close eye on the goings of the World Cup. First, Paul Dinette. Paul, what do you make? Is it the David and the Goliath kind of a situation today?
G'day, Sunil. Yeah, in cricket, yes. In every other aspect of life, the United States tends to be the sort of the big boys of the world. So it's quite interesting to have them as the underdogs. I think it's really exciting that they're going to be in the Super 8s. Probably they're going to be disappointed that they're not potentially going to be on another difficult pitch to bat on. I think that the harder the pitch to bat on, then that probably brings sides a little bit closer together. So I think we're possibly going to move into a phase where the tournament starts to approach what we would have expected at the start, a lot more high scoring in the Super 8s. And I'm really looking forward to that. Well,
everyone else is, apart from you, the fans out here in India. Let's talk to the former Indian player, Noel David. What do you think of the matches that are going to start from here onwards in the group of death, whether it's Group A, Group B? Your views?
It's going to be really, really exciting. I think everyone are waiting for this Super 8 to start, and I think today is the kickoff. The first game is so interesting. You take South Africa and US, then tomorrow we are playing. India is playing, Afghanistan, and that's a key game for India. I think all the games of both the groups are going to be nail-biting, I think, mostly. And I think every match is going to be keenly watched of performances of each team. And I wonder, I would love to see the West Indies. Why I say so? Because they are dangerous on a given day. They are batting, they are bowling, and the fielding it's really commanding. And the second team, what I would love to watch is the Afghanistan at present, because on a day, they are unpredictable team. And US, they have nothing to lose from here. Everything is to gain for them. I think they should play the same brand of cricket what they have played during the league. They have to bowl well. Yes, the bowlers need to come up with some variations, something up their sleeves. The batting is good, the fielding is good. And whereas the South Africans, I think they must have won all the games in the league. But how they won? Every match was a close encounter for them. So they need to get their game up front, ahead a little more with their batting, because their bowling is good. So every team is ready and geared up for this match. And I feel that we as spectators, most of us, will be keen for today and tomorrow's game at present.
Well, Tatinda, what does this match mean for the future of cricket in United States? What are your views on how does it pan and how does it benefit USA?
I think it's a step in the right direction because I think similar to what Paul was saying the other day, I think the American sort of sports cycle, you're competing obviously American football, basketball, all of these things. And I think the one thing Americans love, if you've noticed with other sports, say football, for example, soccer, let's just say, when they make it far in the World Cup, suddenly the entire country kind of wakes up and is like, oh wow, we're actually good at this other sports too, and interest can kind of take off from there. So I think that's sort of perhaps the one thing we can take. It's the first step. Now, in terms of sort of like how we can expect them to perform, I like what Noel said, that they've got nothing to lose. But looking at the group they're in, because look, England, South Africa, West Indies. I know it's maybe some of the Indian panelists might not like me saying this, but I would say this group that the USA is in, this one's a bit more of a tricky group than perhaps the other group with India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and Australia. Because more and more, I could perhaps say yes, it is tricky, but I would expect India and Australia to come out of the. Whereas in this group, it's really kind of the Wild West, and the USA, they'll have an uphill task. But if they go in it, knowing that look, we've got nothing to lose, let's just go and give it the best showing, and wherever they may land, they'll know that they probably got the captive audience in America to kind of look on them. So that's all they can do. They just need to go out, try and play the cricket, and hopefully can convert some American viewers onto the sport as well.
Let's take a step back and understand, and Paul Dennett, I want to invite you here in this part of the discussion. What is the contrasting style of play that these two teams have when you look at, especially when you look at USA, because they seem to be pretty unpredictable. I mean, they haven't met each other at any point of time, but yet they seem to be more crowd favorites. They seem to be more critic favorite as well as experts favorite. What makes them so unique, play-wise?
Well, I think we saw while I was over there in Delhi, we saw how United States beat Bangladesh in a couple of warm-up games. If you listen to some of the pundits who really do follow associate cricket in the lead-up to it, they were saying the United States aren't here to make up the numbers. They are genuinely a side that could cause some surprises. And so the fact that they are in the Super 8s, yes, it's a surprise, but it's not an enormous surprise. And it is certainly within their remit that they could actually still cause another upset. I completely agree with what Tatenda said as well, that's how the cricket is going to get on the map in the United States. And I distinctly remember, I can't remember what year it was, but it was a FIFA World Cup about 20 years ago where United States made it into the quarterfinals. And I tuned into the American news just to see if they'd talk about it. And they had it as the last thing before they said goodnight. Normally, when there's a cute panda bear born or a dog does something cute, they have that to end it. They said, and to end it, the United States have made it to the quarterfinals of the Soccer World Cup. And it was kind of like a throwaway line. But now, 20 years later, when the World Cup's on, American Twitter lights up because they don't get so often to cheer their national team on in big sporting events. That's why they take the Olympics so seriously. So if they happen to get a win in the Super 8s, I think that could be a real threshold breaking moment in America, that it could propel the World Cup, if not into the mainstream, but people in workplaces and the like will actually be talking about it for the first time. So I'm kind of cheering them on. They'll get a little bit arrogant as a result, but I'd love to see them do something in these Super 8s.
Would you intend, on a lighter note, would you intend to post something today, considering you've got an American accent and you like American guys to get after you on your social media handles?
Yes, it's continuous. It's now 2.5 million views that I've had, and I have had, I reckon, 10,000 separate people explain to me the rules of cricket and lecture me on, and it's been quite something. All these people saying, this guy doesn't understand cricket. We should get this guy to watch the Test match. And I feel like saying, do you realise how much of my life I've wasted watching Test cricket? I've spent 1,000 hours a year watching Test cricket. So it's been quite funny. Will I be tempted to do another video? I think if the United States win, I won't be able to resist it. But my dodgy American accent, it can only hold up so far. It's pretty obvious that I'm not American.
Well, absolutely. You're not American. Absolutely wheat bix eating kind of an Aussie that we know completely. We'll take a step back and go on to Noel David. Noel, just imagine the contrasting bowling styles between the two teams. Shamsi completely constricts your opposition from South Africa. You have Nigiri and you have Rabada. I mean, you have one set of set bowlers, and you have, on the other hand, just sort of Netravalkar. Do you think it's an unmatched kind of a situation in bowling department?
See, to be very honest, I think bowling side, if you have contrast against the US, I think South Africa is way ahead of them, way ahead, because the experience what they bring into the bowling department is no match to the US team. Yes, there's Natwalkar there in the US who has been a sensational during this league phase. He's come good. He's bowled well against the Pakistanis, bowled well against the Indians, but can he maintain that same degree of performance now during the Super 8 will be keenly be what. But if you take Tabriz, if you take Rabada or Norte, all these guys are well experienced. They know their bowling and they know their strength. And especially bowling on a flat strips like what they're going to play today at Sir Vivian Richards ground in Antigua. That's going to be really a placid wicket. I think there will be a bit of bounce. The initial start of the game. Later on, it's going to be a solid battle. I think these guys are too good, too far ahead than the US bowling. And I find that their bowling is much stronger than the South African, what they come with the batting. I think so far, whatever they have won matches, it is the bowling won the matches for the South African.
Well, Noel, that was an interesting point that you made. We're going to discuss a little more about details and get also Titinda Ziambe back into the discussion, talking about the spinners part, because South Africa has Keshav Maharaj, Shamsi. We'll talk about their role. Today is the first match of the Super 8 between USA and South Africa. And South Africa has a little concern when Quinton de Kock has yet to play a significant inning in this World Cup, and the team will be expecting a strong performance from the wicketkeeper batsman. Noye is in excellent bowling form, having taken 9 wickets in 4 matches. The US team, on the other hand, has already caused a major upset by defeating a formidable Pakistan team in the group stages as their first participation in the World Cup. South Africa cannot afford to take Americans lightly. The stage is set for the thrilling encounter at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Again, very interesting point that we are on the bowling department between the spinners. Again, we expected and predicted that spinners will take over. They've come to the party, but we have to see if the leg spinner of Shamsi and Maharaj, the spinners, will come into the party or not. Titinda Ziambe. Titinda, we were watching the league auctions, and even Tabriz Shamsi couldn't be sold at the Lankan Premier League last fortnight. Remember, we discussing that he's one of the best bowlers, but yet cannot be picked in the franchise cricket. Do you think he'll have his time for revenge? And second point is, do you think Keshav Maharaj will get time to bowl in? Your views?
I think to the first point, I think it's all about the results, right? And I think that's where revenge, as you put it, I'll just maybe put it saying prove the doubters wrong. I think that's going to be key in his performances in the World Cup. And I think going on to your second point with Maharaj, I do think we're likely going to see him. Like, I know you mentioned that Norchi is the highest wicket taker, right? Maharaj is actually the second. I think he's got 5, and then I think Shamsi isn't too far off from there as well. I think he's got like 4 wickets or something like that. I can't quite remember exactly how many there's, but yes, now, and I think I was a little jealous for literally the point that I wanted to say out of my mouth. My thing was that the conditions are going to be a bit more predictable up there in New York. The pitch was what it was. A lot of batsmen and bowlers were struggling likewise. Now that things are a bit more predictable, with the severe bowling lineup is where the spinners are likely even going to make an impact now. And to the opposition that they play to USA, I love the face. I really would want them to win, but right now this is kind of a hope, and as my cricket coach once said, hope is a dangerous thing. If you find yourself hoping, then you're not ready. So I think we are looking forward to that.
Well, Noel David, very interesting point Tatinda has pointed out, and I want to drag you into it. How come we don't get enough leg spinners at the premium pickings in the franchise cricket? Whereas when they play for their nation, they just spell a kind of a havoc and spin a web around the batters.
Yeah, it's surprising, don't you see? Because leg spinners are a rare quality. If you go to see, if you take from the way from right behind when we had great spinners, like Chandrasekhar sir, or if you take Anil Kumble himself, or now it's Chahal. We hardly find leg spinners coming into the flow. It's surprising also to see that after the demise of Shane Warne, there's not much leg spinners in Australia also. Paul can correct me. If you take each country, there's not much leg spinners, and I feel that it is key important for leg spinners to be in a side, because the ball goes away and it gives you a surprise ball which comes in out. And I feel that leg spinners play a major role in the team. And as a spinner, I find that if there's no place for a spinner in a team, I don't think a team will lack things in this thing.
Do you think Shamsi and Maharaj will play together today? Considering Americans only use the bowling machine for their batting practice.
I think they should play. I feel they should play in tandem, both of them, because both are different style of bowlers. Okay, Keshav is more orthodox, whereas Shamsi is more of like Kuldeep. He bowls the Chinaman type. So they are both different from this thing. Yes, the ball does spin away from the batsman, both of them. But the way the Chinaman, there's a takeaway ball, there's a googly which comes in, and Maharaja has the arm ball. And I think both are different kind of bowlers, and both should play, because I think US team has not faced that quality bowlers. As far maybe they've faced Akshar, but that quality of bowlers they have not faced during. And I think this wicket will also help Maharaja and Shamsi.
Paul Dinette, what exactly, according to you, who has impressed you a lot when it comes to spin bowling now that we are in the Super 8?
Well, I think up until now, it has been the tournament primarily of the fast bowling. I don't want to overly hype up the Australians, but Adam Zampa has impressed me quite a bit in some. Australia's had some spin-friendly conditions, and I think that he's going to be playing a key role. I think going forward, I think that the West Indies have that really lovely balance of the power hitting and some really potent spinners as well, and some unusual spinners too. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see the second game today. It's going to be a packed crowd. My cousin's actually gone over to St. Lucia for the game. She's been there for a few days, so I'm going to get some first-hand reports on what it's like there. Apparently, the atmosphere in St. Lucia is absolutely superb.
Maybe get your sister, maybe get your cousin as one of our reporters, on-ground reporters, the fan reporter.
I was expecting that.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, she saw they took a photo of Johnny Bairstow the other day and having a meal somewhere. So she's a roving reporter for us. And she's going to be at the game, and I think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely superb. And I think the West Indies are going to be very hard to beat. I think England are going to be hard to beat as well. But I think the West Indies have got the power to go the whole way. So,
I'm going to interrupt you there and get someone. Suddenly, the memory clicks and begs me to ask Noel David. Noel, your memory of playing in West Indies, considering you played that fantastic test match there. Your memory of the @97 tour of the West Indies. Go on.
Yeah, I was in the previous show saying this. Where tomorrow India is going to play at Barbados.
Yes.
It's not going to be an easy wicket, because if you remember that test match against the West Indies, where we wanted 120 and we were 80 all, because the wicket was unpredictable. There was a way Franklin Rose was bowling at a spot where the ball was flying, and the odd ball keeping low. So they utilized that condition. So the wicket is not going to be easy. But wickets in different places. Like Antigua, you get a batting. St. Lucius is a small, weak ground. It helps a bit of spin with the ball and also a batsman. So there are different islands with different wickets. And the country is so beautiful and they're passionate about the cricket. You know, if you just sit 10 minutes among the crowd, you will enjoy. You will not able to hear anything except the noise. It's so fantastic out there in West Indies. I think that's why the game is
just take us
highly
through.
rated.
I'm sorry, we're just digressing for 30 seconds. Just take us through India's run chase in that particular thing. Sachin Tendulkar, I think, played an important role. VVS Lakshman. And how much did you score? Sorry, but I had to rub it in.
No, I was the drinks man. I was giving the water to them. But yes, I know there were two bad decisions went against us where Sachin was on a no ball, given out, and even I think Sidhu. So I think 2 out bad decisions went against it. But it was very difficult. It was very difficult to chase that 120. We all thought, overnight, 120, when Sachin told, we'll get it. But there was one spot where Franklin Rose really used his height and bounce, where he kept the ball pitching it there, and it was unplayable because everyone were not able to pick that odd bounce, which was
what happened after
rising.
That? Noel David, what happened after that in the dressing room? How many tears were shed, including from the skipper, Sachin himself?
No, there was no tears shed or anything, but we were depressed, sad, because if you had won that test match, I think it would have been a
historic win.
Test victory in West Indies. That was part of sad, but after that we just mourned. If you say mourn means if you say yes, we lost the game, but the wicket was not playable a bit. We could have won it. Our batting could have done it, but this is game of cricket. Sachin said, winning and losing, but get on with it and concentrate on the next game.
Well, now what's your prediction for the game today?
If South Africa plays the cricket what they played during the league phase, winning close matches, then I will give it to US. But because US can dig in deep and they have already bubbling in confidence, and I will give it say that US can really upset South Africa today.
US can definitely defeat South Africa. Paul Dinette, you have got amazing views, but equally awful prediction. But you can still give it a try to improve your rate.
I'm going to tip South Africa and I'm going to tip the West Indies. So one very much the favourite and one the slight underdog.
Absolutely. What about Tatinda?
I think I'm going to join Paul there, and I'm going to say South Africa definitely today. I still would love it if USA won, but I'm sorry, I just don't see them beating South Africa.
Absolutely.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.